All right, for all you power hungry people out there that have electric skateboards, electric scooters, electric guitars, electric bikes, or even if you just need to be prepared because you live in a hurricane zone like I do. Well, today I've got something that's actually a really affordable solution to all that from Egretech. It's called the Sonic 1200 Portable Power Station. Welcome back, I'm Tony, and you know I've reviewed and used several of these here on the channel, and I'm going to tell you this one is really, really affordable. They do have packages that come with a solar panel, 100 watt, 200 watt, which is the deals on those I'll tell you about in just a second, but this is all I got with this one, just the power station itself, so that's what I'm focusing on today. Now the first thing I'll tell you is that this thing is super fast charging. If you plug it directly into a wall, it's like boom, man. I think 1.6 hours is what they say from 0 to 100%, and 1 hour from 0 to 80%. So let's take a quick look at the website and go over some specs. So the Egretech Sonic 1200 Portable Power Station, 1200 watts, 999 watt hours. Now get this, the retail price of this is $999, and that sounds about reasonable for what we're looking at. But they've got it marked down to $399. So the quick specs on this is 1200 watt AC output power, 3 ways to recharge AC, solar, or car, the G-Flow inverter technology charging to 80% in just 1 hour, automotive grade BMS, that is a battery management system and it's super important, continuously monitors battery status, and it has 8 outputs for multiple devices. You know, I realize that aesthetics aren't exactly the most important thing when it comes to these, but this one, it's really sleek, it's really well designed. Let's take a look at what their website says about what it can do. It says with a mobile phone you can charge it 75 times, a MacBook you can charge 15 times, refrigerator would run for 7.5 hours. That's a biggie, man. When the power goes out, you don't want to lose all that food, right? TV for 8.2 hours. That's also a big thing in my house. It's very difficult for my wife and I to sleep without a fan and a TV going. So, and then for outdoor stuff, an electric blanket, 15 hours, camping lamp, 90 hours, a projector, 5 hours in case you wanted to watch some movies out there, a digital camera, 56 times, a SLR camera 39 times, and drones 22.5 times. Like I said, there are packages where you can get this with the solar panels, you see right here. And I did test it with the solar panel. It worked as you would expect. If I remember right, the input that I was getting from a 100 watt panel on a decently sunny day was about 70 watts. But yeah, if you wanted to get a package with a 100 watt solar panel, it only goes up to $508, so that's a little bit more than $100 more. That's a great deal. And they've also got one that is a 200 watt solar panel, and that sells for $618. So yeah, the prices on this are pretty fantastic, and in my use, it's working really well. I've run it with electric guitars. I've charged several things at once. I've run a fan and a TV off of it. Everything worked great. Let's do this, a quick unboxing, then we'll do an up close run through the features, come back and give you my final impressions. All right, so here we are. You've got your 2 USB-A's up here, 2 USB-C's there, and over here is your DC, so you've got your car power output. That is not where you're going to charge it though. To charge it, you're gonna need what came inside this little box right here, and you've got this. To me, charging from your car is not ideal, but you never know what kind of a situation you might be in, so you'd use this, and both of them plug in at the same place. Right here, this is for your solar or your car input. Now, this does not come with the cable for solar. You'll need one of these, which is an XT60 connector, and that will connect right into there. All right, so if you have a solar panel, you're either gonna have to buy one of these cables for it, or hopefully your solar panel came with it. I did test this with a solar panel. It works as expected. Unfortunately, I wasn't filming that day, and the weather today is not so great, so I can't really take it out and do that, but I wanted to get this video done for you. The last review that I did on one of these, the solar panel that I used, came with one of those cables, so that is great. And not all solar panels are gonna come with one of those cables. So, you know, just make sure you know what you're dealing with. But what's really great is that with this thing charged from, I think it was like 25% when I got it, to full within an hour. So that's pretty amazing, really. Of course, plug directly into the wall. Now, as I said, this doesn't come with as many outputs as some of them do, but that's fine as long as you know what you'll be using with it, you know, what your use case is. And really, the outputs that they have on here kind of correspond to what it can handle. That's where your AC is. Each one of them has their own power button on them. So you've got a power button up here at the top. You press that and hold it. And now we're on. Love the display on this thing. It is a really clean looking display. And then for each one of the things, you've got your light up here at the top. That's the light button. We'll hit that once. It's bright, brightest. Then you've got SOS. And then we've got the flashing. And then it's off. And then for each one of the power sections, you hit that, DC on. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and drop this iPhone on here. And that is now charging. All right, so I sped up the video just a little bit so we didn't have to wait to see these watts climb here, but this usually tops out at about 9 or 10 watts using the QI charging at the top, so it's wireless charging. So DC is for both that and for this. Then we can turn on your USB. You'll see that on the screen here, you're gonna get feedback for whichever ports are actually turned on, and we'll just turn on the AC over here. So now we've got all the ports turned on. The display tells you that there are 98 hours left on the charge that are currently on here. That's your watts out right there, and that's your percentage. There is a little bit more information that's available on here if there's a high temperature alarm or a low temperature alarm, battery alarm up at the top. They'll tell you if it's overloading and all that. So it's pretty thorough. Now I noticed that the rolling shutter on this camera is making that look like it's kind of pulsy or whatever, but it really isn't. You do have the flashing at the end of it. Let's do this. I've got that phone charging up there. I just hoisted this electric skateboard up here. This is a nice electric skateboard right here. But yeah, this thing is going to be plugging in back here, and we'll plug that in as well as an iPad. So let's go ahead and get this thing going. With electric skateboards, you always want to plug the power block in first, and then we plug the board in. All right, so now that's charging. And then we'll go ahead and plug in an iPad using one of these USBs here. So now we see we have 97 watts out, plugging in the iPad. So we've got 3 things charging right now, and one of them is going to be a big draw. So 108 watts out right now. And now it tells us that there's 8 hours left on the charge that's in here. Let's go ahead and turn on the light as well. And that light really doesn't take much battery at all. That's one thing that's really nice about this. I like the forward-facing light on there. If you know, I needed to plug things in and do some reading or whatever, I would be set. And of course, I can just do that. Now that's turned this off, and you can see that that disappeared from on there. And this is no longer charging. If I do that, then this is no longer charging. So now just what's coming out of this into the electric skateboard, we got about 87 watts and 10 hours of battery left on this. So in a power outage, I'd actually be able to charge my electric skateboard, electric bike, or electric scooter so I could get around. And in a hurricane, an electric bike might be a really good option. Not to mention, if I wanted to play one of my guitars and plug in an amp or something like that, I could entertain the neighborhood. So yeah, I'm digging it. So dollars to donuts, this is one of the best deals that I've seen, especially when you start bundling the solar panel in there, which I would recommend. I've already got 5 of them, so yeah, I'm good on the solar panels right now, I think. As far as outputs, it's only got 8 outputs, and that includes the 2 AC, your DC, which one of them is the QI charger that's on the top, the wireless charger, 2 standard USB, and 2 USB-C. So yeah, I mean, it's not the most output rich device, but I tell you what, at least you know that what you're going to be using with it will work. You're not going to overload it, and if you do, it'll let you know. It has that BMS in there, so it will shut itself down, and it should keep itself from shorting out. But that is one thing I don't see on this. I don't see a circuit breaker on there, and some of them that I've gotten have that. So if it, if it does get overloaded, pops that circuit and you just got to reset it. This, I don't see it on there. Now, most of these have a light. Some of them it's on the back of it, which isn't ideal for me because, I want to be able to plug in and look at it while I'm actually using the light. Maybe I'm reading or maybe I'm cooking or something like that. And some of them have like a little flashlight light at the top of it. I like this, has a light bar in there. It's diffused and it's really comfortable to use. So when a power outage, pop that light on, plug in your essentials and you should be good to go. I don't know if I'd really use this for something like your full refrigerator. Yeah, it might work, but I think you might need something a little bit more robust, which they also sell on their website. Like I said, I did test it with solar. It works fine, but since I didn't get the cable and it didn't come with the solar panel, I figured we'll just focus on this. But I think that the input power to that on a 100-watt panel, on a pretty good sunny day, 65 to 70 watts, so that's not too terribly bad. And it's really a function of the panel more than it is the power station. Well, and maybe add in a little bit of user error, but I really like it. I think it works great, and I think it's an amazing value for what they're charging for it. I dig it, I really do. That is the Egretech Sonic 1200 portable power station, 1200 watt, 999 watt hours. And I just want to thank you so much for your support here on the channel. Likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, always very important to my channel. So if you like what you see, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, there is a red subscribe button down there and a notification bell. Click both of those, you'll get notifications when I upload new videos. This channel's been around since 2013, and I really have you to thank for that. I really do appreciate your patronage of this channel. And overall, your support of me. It really means the world to me. It's very humbling. So make sure you like and subscribe, and if you are so inclined and want to toss a couple bucks my way to support the channel, I've got a thanks button down below there. Every penny counts. It's not inexpensive to run these channels. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll catch you next time on the Vapor Trail channel.